JC Santana coming to you from the Institute of Human Performance in sunny South Florida. Let me tell you, that knee over toe shit, woo, is on fire. Some of you got butt hurt on that. I want to clarify a couple of things because it's easy to lose context, and when I have to clarify something, I'll tell you, hey, don't take it like this, don't take it like that, and if I'm wrong, I'll tell you, I'm sorry, I misspoke. I was, going through a senior moment, and I said the wrong thing. So anyways, when I said I'm not a fan of knee over the toe, what I'm not a fan of is the extreme knee flexion and the assumption that that is necessary or even optimal for any training effect or any performance effect. That's number one. So I'm against the extreme training methods, and I'm against the bad declarations, the bad assumptions, the bad claims, because they're bullshit. Okay? And I don't have anything against Ben Patrick. He seems like a nice kid. He's doing really well, so I wish him well. And he's doing a good job at bringing things to the forefront so we can have this discussion. So this is not personal for Ben. I would love to have a debate with him. I'll take him out to dinner. I'll take him out for a drink. Ben, the drink, the lunch, the salad, whatever you want, vegan or carnivore. I don't give a shit. It's open, brother. Okay, nothing but love. So we're just two guys in the ring fighting. We're going to kick the shit out of each other, and then we're going to go have a drink, because it's just about the debate growing and critiquing in a respectful way, although sometimes, a word will slip. But this is nothing personal with you, brother. I think you're doing a great job. You're young. You're going at it. You have a great story. Keep doing what you're doing, all right? So let's talk about the knee over the toe. Number one, we have to get the nomenclature right, because to have a system of training, which Ben has, knee over the toe guy has, and he even has certifications, more power to him. I've got certifications and all good, okay? Nothing wrong with any of that. But to call that system of training knee over the toe training, or put it in that's like me calling my training system oxygen consumption movement. No, it's a redundancy, it's a meaningless term, and it covers shit that is just so normal that it's really, an unspoken assumption that the knee, of course, goes over the toe. You couldn't walk, you couldn't sit correctly, you couldn't do a bunch of things, okay? And of course, we always have the trick question, what about the back knee? Look, don't get excited with the back knee, because the back knee doesn't do what you think it does, all right? And if you want to talk biomechanics, that's my specialty. I'm an engineer. That's why biomechanics is my shit. Vectors is my shit. So if you want to talk about that, I kind of like to stay on the floor, practical. What can we do with this person, that person? At the end of the day, what is it that us trainers can bring to the forefront so we can help people? Boom, that's where I like to stay. But I can go either way, all right? So nomenclature. Number one, everything that you claim to be over-the-toe training is a redundant statement, because everything is over the toe if you're locomoting. So that means if you come out of a stance and you go anywhere, there's going to be a knee beyond the toe. Okay, so everything locomotive-wise is knee over the toe. So to call a lunge knee over the toe training, even if you have the front knee behind the toe, oh yeah, but what about the back knee? At that point in time, you lost me. Okay, look, I'm a wrestler. Okay, you guys who wrestled know what a takedown is. The guy doing a takedown, that knee is well in front of the toe, but he doesn't come back from that position. He goes there and he gets there through momentum. He places that knee on the ground and follows the rest of the knee up, okay? And many wrestlers, by the way, including one of the greatest to ever live, Dan Gable, double hip replacement. You want to know why? Because there are extreme positions that are required for wrestling, especially at the hips and the knees, such as deep lunging, although you don't come back from it and it's not under heavy load. And catchers, a lot of them have knee issues, knee replacements, hip replacements. Why? Because of the extreme positions that many bodies are not made for. So let me show you what we were doing in this book, in this video. DVD, this was a VHS. It is copywritten 2002 because it was released in 1998 as a VHS and then 2002 as a DVD. That's why this is a 1997 copyright. Same thing here. The second edition was 2000. All right, in 1995, I was already doing all of the stuff, and I took scenes from this, my first video, okay, that came out in the Perform Better catalog, I think it was 1999, all right? These are scenes right from that. Check this out. But look at this, okay? Knee over the toe, multi-directional reaching, because who brought this out? Who brought this multi-planar stuff out? Gary Gray. Who brought that disc out? That Air-X pad? Who brought that? John Blevernick. You guys don't know about this because this was going on before many of you were born. Look at this, knee over the toe. This is called a posterior reach, probably one of the best things you can do for the anterior core for pitchers and so on. We did a ton of work on stairs. Look at this, look at the trailing leg. We didn't forget the trailing leg, guys, okay? But if that front knee goes beyond the foot, you're not gonna come back. You have to take another step to decelerate. We did plank work. I'm Cuban, so we have a very heavy Russian background in our education, and calisthenics and plank work balance was really, really very strong with the Russians. Look at this. Oh my goodness, except you guys are doing this with 300 pounds in your back. You don't need to. Look, we were teaching our elderly clients how to get down in a staggered stance. Okay? We were doing it in an unbalanced situation. John Blevernick, again, with the proprioception training back in the 97, okay, 96. All right? Single leg, wobble boards, everything. Air-X pads, now starting to use drivers. You guys don't know about drivers. Anything that the body uses to drive in one direction can drive you out of function and drive you into function. Here we're using arms and legs as drivers. Multiple sclerosis and neurological situations. We train our people that are fighting for their lives like that. Knee over the toe in leg presses and from the ball of the foot as well. Knee over the toe, staggered stance and single leg positions. Single leg squats from a counterbalance and a non-counterbalance position. This is a counterbalance position. This is a non-counterbalance position, more quads than glutes. And this is the famous pistol, which for me, in my opinion, it's totally useless because you're never in that position and have to come out. So as you can see, a lot of that was being done in the 90s, guys. Knee over the toe training came out as functional training in the mid-90s. This is all functional training. There was no knee over the toe necessary because it's a redundant statement. It's like oxygen consuming movement. Well, if you're moving, you're consuming oxygen. Hell, if you're in a coma, you're consuming oxygen. So the oxygen consumption part of the name is useless. It's obvious. That's where the nomenclature has to be ironed out so you guys understand what I'm objecting to. I did this when Ben Patrick was, what is it, he's his 30s? I did this 27 years ago. I don't know how old he was 27 years ago, but I'm sure he wasn't going through puberty. I'm almost sure, because he's a pretty young guy, good looking, very athletic. Holy shit, the boy's got ups. And bro, you got athletic skills, but guess what? You had athletic skills when you were born. God put his hands on you, and you chose your parents well. Okay, that training that you're doing might have helped you, but you were born with the potential for that vertical, and your training got you there. Now, did the extreme training get you there, or all the other great stuff that you're doing get you there? Because what is he doing? He's doing sled, he's doing lunges, he's doing squats, he's doing backwards walking. Jesus, backwards walking? Seriously? We were backwards walking in the early 90s. We were backwards walking in sand at Crandon Park, all right, in the 80s, for crying out loud. I was in high school in the 70s. We were doing uphill backward walking, and that is in my videos as well. Videos from the 90s and 2000s. So this is nothing new. So it's not knee over the toe training. It's athletic training, sports specific training, conditioning, and of course in the mid 90s, it got the name functional training. So to be very clear, when I object to knee over the toe, I'm not objecting to the shit we've been doing for 50 years, for crying out loud. That's not knee over the toe training. That's just training. Okay, what I'm objecting to is stuff like this. Okay, that is unnecessary. 100%, in my opinion. I'll go extreme, and I may be wrong. You might catch me on one or two, but I will say, generally speaking, there is no redeeming value to doing that for 99% of the population. If you're a Cirque du Soleil acrobat, if you're involved in something that requires you to get in that deep position and come out of that deep position, and please don't tell me that catchers are in that position. They are not. Look at a catcher when he's getting ready for a pitch. He's not sitting on his ankles. He gets up. Why? Because he can't come out of this deep position fast. Okay? That's number one. Number two, catchers are now using wedges behind their knees so they can rest on the wedges and not have the hamstring rest on the gastroc in a deeper position. So in other words, they're in a higher position already as they're sitting on the wedge. So even the technology is proving you wrong. You will wreck knees and you will wreck hips and you will wreck backs if you are not built for this. Ben is built for this. Thank God, and I hope he lives a long, beautiful, healthy life. I really do. Because if he's like me, I could do this when I was young, but I've got 2 hip replacements and my left knee is in line for a replacement. Why? Because of deep positions and I'm not made for them. I've already had my femur analyzed and I have a very short femoral neck, and that is counterproductive to split straddles for karate, which I tried to do for 10 years and could never get a straddle split. And that probably cost me my hips. And then on top of that, I hammered Olympic weightlifting to the national level, okay? And that probably did me in. And my knees, same thing. I was okay in my 30s, late 30s, early 40s, Olympic weightlifting, and in 3 years, my knees went bye-bye, boom. Because again, my knees and hips are not made for the full range of motion, especially under load. So I'm against this, okay? And I'm against this. All right? I mean, that's all cute. I was doing dumb shit to show people what I could do, but I would never, ever, ever, ever recommend it. Standing on a ball is not even in any of my videos or any of my books, because I understood the dangers and I understood that what people would do. So we've been talking about this for a long time. In one way or another, we've been addressing it. May of this year, we had this short. Remember this? End of story. It's a done deal. It's a vector. You can't opinion your way out of that shit.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold sets it.
That's real. Okay, first of all, you have a client that insists on doing knee over toe lunges versus our lunge. Listen to this. Knee over heel. Knee over toe lunges are not bad. As a matter of fact, knee over toe lunges increase knee flexion, which by definition increases quad activation. So from a bodybuilding perspective, many bodybuilders will do the knee over toe. And there's nothing that says you're gonna go to hell if you have your knee over your toe.
If you're not down with that, we got 2 words for ya!
You may not have the kind of knees that are needed for that, and you'll pay for that when you're 40 if you continue to do that, especially heavy. So just what I said. Toe, great for quad activation, not for everybody. You have arthritis, that knee over toe shit will kill you. Why do we do the lunge a little different? Because we use the lunge as a decelerative exercise, and you can't decelerate if the knee's going over the toe. And in order for that step to change your direction, one rule can't be broken. That knee has to be between the planted foot and the intended direction. You got that? You got that? Period. End of story. It's a done deal. It's a vector. You can't opinion your way out of that shit. And the reason, again, that we do it is because we use the lunge not for bodybuilding. We don't do much bodybuilding here, especially at the professional level. We do enough bodybuilding for a kid to put on some muscle mass, for an attorney to get a better body and get tone and put on a little bit of muscle. But we don't deal with, you know, the monsters that are injecting and competing here. If it doesn't get done with squats, leg presses, lunges, step-ups, knee extensions, and leg curls with good controlled movement, you know, the whole bodybuilding thing, if it doesn't get done with that, we ain't doing it. Period. End of story. We here at IHP, we don't train for show, we train for go. So our thing is always performance, and we use the lunge to teach deceleration. And in order to decelerate or change directions, which is basically the reason you decelerate usually, is so you can do something and change directions or change directions immediately. The planted foot must be on the ground, and the knee must be between the planted foot and the intended direction. If that knee is over the foot, okay, or at least beyond the foot when the direction is over here, you cannot. So if you're going forward and that knee goes over the toe, you're not coming back. You're gonna have to take another step, and that step will be a longer step. The knee will be behind the foot, and then you can change the direction. And that occurs going forwards, backwards, lateral, all changes of directions required. So that's why we do the lunges the way we do them. If we see people doing lunges for quad activation, go ahead. You want to do some sissy squats? We've been doing sissy squats since the 70s, man. I got into lifting in 1972, 73. So we've done all of that. Again, we don't object to the obvious knee over toe phenomena in human locomotion. I described human locomotion as one of the 4 pillars of human movement. Locomotion, changes of level, push, pull, rotation, done. That was done in the mid-90s. You're too late to the show. And we describe all characteristics of human locomotion. So when you describe all those characteristics, well, guess what is obvious? You have to know gait, because if you're going to talk human locomotion, you got to know the swing where the knee goes up, and then you start to come down, and then you plant, and then you push off. And there's other phases in between if you really want to get technical, but I'm not talking at that level. So, human locomotion dictates that the knee always goes over the toe. In closing, we don't have any objections to the obvious that has been done for 40 years. But to call all of that knee over the toe training is absolute disingenuous and misguided, okay? Misinterpreted, misnomered, okay, if you will. It's not a good name for it. That's like saying my movement is oxygen consuming movement. Got it? So don't kill me when I talk about knee over the toes, because I'm not talking about all the traditional stuff that's been done for the ages. My objection is with extreme flexion. There's plenty of science and there's plenty of literature, all right, on the detrimental effects of extreme flexion of the knee, especially under load. I'm against that. I don't think it's necessary because most of the greats have never done it. And people who do it and are not built for it will get hurt 100%. That extreme shit will hurt you if you're not built for it. So if it's not needed and it hurts a percentage of the population, whether they're 50, 60, 40, doesn't matter, why use it? All right, that wraps up this particular video. I got more coming. I got a 14-page literature review on knee over the toe methodology and scientific research. I did a literature review over the last 2 days. I covered it all. It's coming at you little by little, but we wanted to get this out of the way. We thank you for your comments. Hey, you got something to say? Let's keep it respectful. Let's keep it upbeat. I love Ben Patrick. You're a young cat. You've done a lot of good. Keep going. I'm giving you my opinion. The truth lies between you and I somewhere, okay? All right, guys. Thank you. Love you.